Number 10. The Internet Spam King. Back in the original days of the internet, there was nothing more annoying than spam. In the early 2000s, spam plagued the internet and annoyed pretty much everyone. And a lot of it was thanks to one extremely hated entrepreneur from Michigan named Alan Ralsky. This guy became known as the Spam King after sending millions of bulk spam emails for all kinds of different businesses to people all over the country. This guy was scum, vermin, and all kinds of other really nasty words. But believe it or not, it would be the people of the internet who got the last laugh. After Alan became ridiculously rich, an article was published on him in a local paper that spotlighted his lavish lifestyle, his mansion, and all kinds of other things. People who hated Alan because of his spam nonsense managed to find out his home address. Then, a whole lot of people got together and decided to send the spam emails to his home. And they even managed to send thousands of pieces of junk mail to his personal email address. But wait until you hear the best part. While sending the Spam King hundreds of pounds of spam every day is pretty good revenge as it is, in 2009, Alan pleaded guilty inside of a federal court for penny stock manipulation. He ended up going to prison for 51 months. In the end, spam slowly lost its punch, but Alan Ralsky remained firmly behind bars. Number 9. The Duel. The story of Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton is one of historical intrigue. There are few tales of political rivalry in the United States quite as legendary as this. It began with Burr and Hamilton serving in the Revolutionary Army under Washington. Both these men had great political careers and high aspirations. Both of them managed to get into high office, and both of them were a little underhanded when it came to how they rose to power. Alexander Hamilton, in particular, was quite good at manipulating the outcome of elections. He made backroom deals that undermined the power of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and even John Adams. But when Alexander Hamilton decided to cross Aaron Burr, it would be Burr who got the last laugh. It all went down when Aaron Burr lost out on his presidency to Thomas Jefferson after Alexander Hamilton helped engineer the decision within the House of Representatives. Aaron Burr accepted his defeat and went on to serve as vice president. But it was afterwards, when he was running for governor of New York, that Hamilton appeared yet again to undermine him. Aaron Burr got so fed up with Hamilton's meddling that he challenged the man to a duel. Keep in mind, this was the early 1800s. In fact, according to the History Channel, it was on July 11th, 1804, that these two men stepped out to duel. And Aaron Burr got the last laugh when he mortally wounded Alexander Hamilton and shut the man up for good. Number 8. Safe from the flood. When you live near the Mississippi River, you absolutely must be able to adapt to your environment. Some residents of Mississippi recently got the last laugh after building some rather unique embankments around their properties to save themselves and their livelihoods from floods. These homes are located in Vicksburg, all of them very close to the Yazoo River, which itself is a tributary to the Mississippi River. Throughout the years, there have been floods getting worse and worse. To keep their homes safe from destruction, farmers and homeowners started to build huge barriers of earth and sand to protect themselves against the floods. Amazingly enough, it worked. These guys really got the last laugh when all their neighbors were too lazy to build embankments and ended up getting their homes and their crops flooded, while those who knew the dangers of flooding and were proactive enough to defend against it were safe on completely dry land, sitting back and laughing it up. Of course, these floods are incredibly dangerous and no laughing matter. They have claimed lives, they have destroyed homes and businesses, and at least 3 million acres of farmland from between Illinois and Louisiana have been decimated by floods in recent years. Number 7. Revenge through song. Revenge is a dish best served through song. At least, that's what my grandpa always used to say. When a Canadian folk pop group named Sons of Maxwell began to tour in Nebraska way back in 2008, they had a pretty unpleasant experience. They were on a United Airlines flight, looking out their window, when they saw the baggage handlers throw their guitars onto the plane haphazardly. Once they landed in Omaha and got to the hotel, the band opened up their instruments to find that some were intact, but one specific guitar had been absolutely destroyed, and all because of the baggage handlers. This guitar was owned by Dave Carroll, and he wanted to be reimbursed for his broken instrument. It took 9 months of talking with customer service for his claim to be denied by United Airlines based on the ridiculous fact that he never showed his guitar to officials in Omaha when he landed. To get revenge, Dave Carroll thought it would be fun to write a series of songs titled United Breaks Guitars. It was a huge success. This guitarist got the last laugh after he uploaded his 3 songs about United Airlines onto YouTube, where they went viral and collected at least 4 million views in just under a month. This may seem like nothing important, but within just 4 days of the initial video's launch, the stocks for United Airlines dropped in value by $180 million. They may have ruined his guitar, but Carroll helped to ruin their stock value. Number 6, Dr. Crippen and the Last Laugh. The story of Dr. Holly Crippen is about as notorious as it gets. It's also quite complicated, so stay with me for a minute as I detail this amazing story of revenge from beyond the grave. Dr. Crippen was a homeopathic doctor residing in London, England with his wife, who happened to be a concert singer and much richer than he. His wife soon discovered that he was having an affair, she confronted him, then she went missing and was never seen from or heard from again. According to the story from the History Press, Dr. Crippen told his friends and others that knew his wife that she had fallen sick and then died during a performance overseas in Los Angeles. Dr. Crippen then sold off all the jewelry that his wife had owned, tidied up his affairs, and moved to the United States. However, he definitely did not get away with murder. After Dr. Crippen left, Scotland Yard took it upon themselves to investigate. They searched his home and found a body in his cellar. Assuming it was the body of his dead wife, Dr. Crippen was arrested and then hanged in the year 1910. But here's the kicker. It wasn't until 2007 that the case was truly solved. Forensic evidence proved in the 21st century that the body found in Dr. Crippen's basement was not actually his wife. It had been the corpse of an unknown man who Dr. Crippen also may have murdered. The thought now is that the good doctor successfully got rid of his wife's dead body, but was then caught for a completely different murder. In the end, it was his dead wife who got her last laugh from beyond the grave. Number 5, Sheriff gets last laugh. There's nothing better than getting the last laugh in a dispute on social media. This is especially true for Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, who wasted no time in confronting a career criminal who had previously taunted him on the social media platform Facebook. Sheriff Judd went on Facebook to announce the arrest of a criminal named Cedric Carr from Mulberry. But he did this in a slightly different way than usual. He actually posted a before and after picture of the criminal. The before image was a montage of pictures that had originally been posted on Carr's Facebook page, in which he taunted Judge Grady for not being able to capture him. The after photo was the mugshot of Carr, taken after he had been captured for selling meth. The picture quickly went viral, everyone applauded the sheriff for his good sense of humor, and he definitely got the last laugh with Cedric Carr locked safely behind bars. Number 4, The Wedding Crasher. Everyone dreams of getting sweet revenge on an ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. This is especially true if that individual cheated or otherwise did something awful. Well, a groom ended up having the last laugh after he got the sweetest revenge imaginable on his bride during their wedding. Here's how it happened. The groom orchestrated the entire thing. The wedding was going as planned, family members and loved ones were in attendance, and everything seemed perfectly fine. Then the groom showed a video with various clips of the couple's relationship. Without any notice, the video suddenly cut into a footage of the bride walking into a hotel room with a different man. The video then went on to show the bride engaged in extremely inappropriate behavior with this other man. As reported by local news outlets in Singapore, the groom was a wealthy businessman with enough money to hire a private investigator a few weeks before the wedding because he had suspected his soon-to-be wife was cheating. It turned out to be true. The private investigator got the video evidence, and the groom played the whole thing at the wedding to embarrass and humiliate his cheating wife-to-be. The cheater then ran out of the room, and that was the end of that. Number 3, the Sweetest Revenge. Let's flip the script on the next one and check out a woman who got revenge on her cheating boyfriend. This is definitely the sweetest revenge a person can get, and it didn't even involve humiliating or embarrassing anybody. This woman was in a relationship with her boyfriend for about 3 years. Let's call her Jade from Scotland. Jade and her boyfriend were engaged to be married. Everything was going well, it seemed like a perfect match. Then Jade's boyfriend, out of the blue, traveled 188 miles to cheat on her with a random girl he met on Facebook. Amazingly enough, the girl that the boyfriend cheated with was also cheating on her own boyfriend. It was a very complicated affair. But here's where the amazing revenge comes in. All parties found out, everyone was devastated, then the people who had gotten cheated on ended up hooking up. Jade got her revenge by marrying the boyfriend of the woman that her boyfriend had been cheating on. As of recently, when Jade shared this information with people on TikTok, they had been married for 7 years. And that's why it's the sweetest revenge, as they are living happily while the cheaters are undoubtedly miserable. Jade really did get the last laugh, and so did her husband. Number 2, a ruined career. High school is the worst time of any human being's life. It's miserable, kids are terrible, and nobody needs a bad teacher making things worse. And yet, the world is full of bad teachers. Let's take this next story for example, of an algebra teacher in 12th grade who used to bully one of her students. Apparently, the student got so fed up with being bullied by her mean teacher every day that she eventually got the teacher fired. She purchased a tape recorder and secretly recorded the teacher being rude and arrogant to her in class. The student then got the last laugh when she took the recordings home and put them all together to create one master tape of her teacher being completely inappropriate. Then, the student played the tape of her teacher to the school administrators, who were stunned and appalled by what they heard. According to the student, who did eventually graduate in 2001, the teacher was fired and never heard from again. This is after over a decade of teaching. I suppose the teacher must have just gotten fed up with the students and took out her misery on the young girl in her class. In any case, you can bet that this rude teacher's life only got worse after that. Number 1, graduation success. They say words are the ultimate weapon, but they can also be the ultimate motivator. Devon Reeder began college with a pretty poor start. When he first began taking classes at Eastern Michigan University, his stepfather was extremely optimistic about his chances of success. According to the inspirational report from Fox 8 News, Devon's stepfather told him that it was pointless to even go to the orientation and that he would never graduate. But of course, he definitely did graduate. And the story of what unfolded afterwards is absolutely amazing. Devon Reeder was the oldest of 4 children, all raised by a single mother. He had lost his academic scholarship before heading off to school and had only made it there because of perseverance and determination. He ended up earning a degree in criminal justice, and after his graduation, he made a post on Twitter about how his stepfather had never thought he would graduate. And yet, 4 years after his stepfather spoke those words, Devon was graduating and his stepfather was sitting in jail behind bars. Devon really got the last laugh in this one. He is going to be a successful and happy member of society, while the stepfather who bashed him and tried to put him down will continue rotting away in prison. What's one example of a time you got the last laugh? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe and don't forget to come back for another hilarious video.